are some problems that will be challenged in this proposal. And there are two points here. The first point is the 20% down payment. As the initiative is targeted for first home buyers for the properties between 300,000 ringgit to $500,000 ringgit, we foresee a potential challenge for house buyers to come up with the down payment of between 60,000 ringgit to 100,000 ringgit. As it is today, even the 10% down payment is already a huge hindrance for most first-time home buyers, let alone the issue of differential sum, where it is the difference between the deposit paid and the loan based on LTV given, will also need to be covered, and this is also another area which unfortunately can only aggravate this issue of 20% down payment. So the question remains, will the target group be able to meaningfully participate in this FundMyHome scheme? Because it all premised, the whole scheme is premised on house buyers' reaction to this scheme, and not just property itself alone. The second area of concern would be the risk and the benefits treatment. From what we understand, at the end of 5 years of this scheme, the house buyer participant will have either to sell or refinance to fund the balance 80%. Again, from our analysis, we need a more balanced risk and benefit treatment between the house buyers and investors, because homeowners may lose their down payment in the event of a market downturn. The difference between a normal situation under a normal current market practices and this home FundMyHome scheme is that at the end of 5 years there is a trigger point, and the trigger point is a realized gain or loss based on market condition 5 years from today. Now, nobody can crystallize what will happen 5 years from today. Certainly, there is uncertainty as far as whether the house buyers will benefit. Resulting from there, we took the view, REHDA Institute took the view that a more balanced risk and benefit treatment between house buyers and investors should be made, because homeowners may lose their 20% down payment in the event of a market downturn and will not gain if capital appreciation is not more than 20% over the next 5 years. On the other hand, investors will gain 100% of the first 20% gain upside and will not lose in the event of the property prices depreciating by 20%. So as you can see, there are some imbalances in what we've read, and we hope that further clarity and further equity be given to such a scheme to make it work. Ultimately, whilst investors are important, the very essence of such a scheme is for house buyers, not so much investors. I believe today's forum will deliberate at length about this crowdfunding initiative and give construction feedback on how it can work for the betterment of all stakeholders in the industry. REHDA Institute welcomes any alternative and new source of funding to house buyers so that cost of home ownership is cheaper and more affordable to all. And I was just told by Dato that even today there will be other parties that will be presenting to REHDA, Sharida and Shida on more options towards crowdfunding. So this is all good for the industry, so that the cost of home ownership will be cheaper and more affordable to all. Towards this purpose, REHDA Institute had earlier, through our affordable housing research report, proposed a residential REIT to provide rental public housing for the B40 groups, and will continue to pursue this financial framework to help the government build more rental public housing for the nation. The key word here is rental, and it's for the B40. Whilst for the FundMyHome is targeted towards boosting home ownership for the M40 and B40. From the demand side, the proposed REHDA Institute's residential REIT is aimed at assisting the government in building up the supply of public social rental housing for the lower income group who cannot afford to buy. Based on the research that REHDA Institute has done, it is known that for the B40 group, where the household income is below 2,300 per month, it is very clear that these groups majority of these groups may not be able to even afford to buy. Even though the budget 2019 does talk about assisting first home buyers for the B40 group for 150,000 and below, but the reality is they may not even afford to buy at those price range. So what REHDA Institute is proposing is that there will be a core segment of the B40 groups where they can only rent and not buy. So this residential REIT will be yet another new innovative proposal that will be proposed to the government. So the REHDA Institute will formally be submitting its proposal and will be engaging the Ministry of Finance together with KPKT on this new transformational financial vehicle for the rental housing sector. Against the backdrop of the measures announced for the housing sector in the recent budget, it is still unclear whether the government will be able to deliver the commitment of building 1 million affordable housing units as promised. This is indeed a very challenging task. The 1 million target is supposed to be due for a duration of 2 terms, meaning 10 years, on the assumption that the new government will continue on its second term. Indeed, the question remains, how will they raise the funds to build such huge numbers, and how will they identify suitable land with suitable ecosystems for affordable housing? Perhaps with concerted and holistically planned efforts amongst the federal government, state governments and GLCs, such land required for the delivery of this 1 million affordable houses over the next 10 years can be made available provided there is strong political will. On this note, I categorically want to state that based on our analysis, for the 1 million units to be built, on the assumption using plot ratio 6 times, with a building efficiency of at 80%, and assuming that we are only talking about high rises, 1 million units require about 4,100 acres of land that is required, and the government needs to fund 220 billion over the next 10 years, which is equivalent to 22 billion a year, based on the target. So as you can see, any new ideas to fund the housing is definitely the game plan. The government also demonstrates a commitment towards creating business-friendly environment for businesses to flourish by introducing numerous incentives that create an enabling and innovative ecosystem to drive and unleash the potential sectors, which includes embracing the digital economy, accelerating the adoption of Industrial Revolution 4.0, and strengthening SMEs. Combined with proper regulatory framework and empowered and talented local workforce, I'm positive the Asian tiger in Malaysia